content, probably the content.
Well, and you know, the other thing about it as well is we knew this would be something that we could come back to and improve.
Sure.
And actually, we actually had help from an internship from Purdue University, a woman who has now graduated, but she did a great job in helping us create this as well. So that was a nice opportunity with this project. Okay, so off of the courses a little bit and onto the technologies. And one of the technologies, and I mentioned this earlier a little bit when I showed you that YouTube video, but we've had a lot of success with lecture capture here at College of Lake County, and it has now gone from one of those new innovative type of technologies to a mainstream type of technology. And in fact, we've got 194 different users that are on our lecture capture system, and they've created just shy of 5,000 different presentations at this point. And that's been over about, I would say, a 3-year period. So that's pretty good use of that.
Can anybody get access to this, or do you have to have a login?
If you have a CLC login, you have access to that tool. So any faculty member, faculty, or staff. And we do have some staff that use this as well.
Linda, are you asking if a student can get to the lectures, or are you asking if from the faculty member's perspective?
I'm actually asking for the world.
Oh.
You know, because my perspective is a little bigger than that. But if I'm working at Avid Laboratories and I am sitting in my office and I learned that a science professor here is teaching something, boy, if I can just go like this and listen, and I may be very interested in attending that class next time. I mean, I'm just thinking,
Okay.
easier access for people who may not have login capabilities here.
Okay. Well, this is a little more of an internal tool at this point.
Okay.
Certainly, what gets produced, those 5,000 presentations, those are available. Those could be found. Most of the time, they are linked to courses.
Okay.
But they could be found, and actually, I think a part of that answer to that question we're going to come to here in a little bit as well. So you're thinking on a higher level than us. You're 3 slides ahead.
Okay. All right.
The other one I wanted to talk about, and this was a really cool moment for us, is this technology called UCU, and this is actually a brand new technology. We just piloted this in the past semester, and it finally solved an issue that we had with our speech classes, where they were constantly challenged with finding a great way for the students to record their speeches and do it in a convenient way. And so UCU actually integrates very directly through Blackboard, which also makes it very easy for both our faculty and our students to use. But UCU is a video platform that allows not only faculty to record videos, but the students to record videos, which is how they could then record their speeches. The other great thing that UCU does is you can comment on the video or the speech that you're watching, and it keeps the comments lined up with that exact point in the video that they're going through. So I reached out to a communications instructor, Kari Proft, and I asked how this had worked for them, and she said it was wonderful because it was the one-stop shop. She called it an easy setup through Blackboard. Students don't have to do anything as long as they're already in Blackboard, which they would be. They just click a button and it takes them right into UCU, and that is a technology called LTI, if you've ever heard of it, which is essentially a fancy way where in the background Blackboard tells that other system, in this case UCU, who this student is, what their email address is, and what class they're related to, and it does that all in the background without very much configuration. She said that there were no forgotten password issues. You just go and click on the student name and record and you were there. Technology savvy not required is what she said. That was one of her quotes. Students and faculty, and the real-time comments, which I mentioned during the speech, which she said means that students can read and respond, which proves they watched the recording, which she liked. The other cool thing about UCU is 2 weeks ago I was in downtown Chicago at the Chicago Online Summit, which was put on by DeVry. And there were all sorts of other universities there. University of Chicago, Northwestern was there, Loyola was there, the city colleges were there. And one of the DeVry educational technology researchers from their DVX research lab, which was all very cool, one of the first tools he brought up was UCU as a new innovative tool. So it was really cool to be the only one in the room who was already using that tool. So we were able to kind of talk about it and mention a little bit about our experience. And then I was approached by folks from the city colleges who said, oh my gosh, we have this exact issue, and we exchanged contact information, and they've already contacted me about learning more about what's going on with this tool. So that was really neat to see something innovative, something we're already using that we're clearly a little bit ahead of the curve with this.
Great.
And it served a need, which was great.
Excellent.
All right, so switching from what we're currently doing, although we could certainly talk more about that if we need to, a little bit to looking into the future. And of course, we're talking about technology. We're never talking about too far into the future, right? We're usually talking about the near future. So one of the first things, and I've talked about this once before when I've come to talk to the board, and that is the idea of synchronous technology. And this goes to really thinking about engagement with all of those online students that I mentioned earlier, and even potentially the hybrid students. And the synchronous technology that we've currently been using is called Blackboard Collaborate, and this is a screenshot of what it has looked like in the recent past. This is the old version of Blackboard Collaborate. It's dependent on Java. It can sometimes be a bit difficult for students to navigate getting into it. This is a webinar style of experience. It does work very well. I don't want to diminish the way that the tool works, but it can have some challenges in terms of getting all connected and getting to that synchronous experience. And so the reason I am talking about that is they've created a new version of Blackboard Collaborate, and I've got a short little 2.5-minute video that I'd like to show you, and then I'll kind of talk about, highlight some of the things that are coming in this new version.
Welcome to Blackboard's next generation web conferencing. It's designed to run right in the browser, making online collaboration easier than ever. Let's take a quick peek inside the classroom. Here we see Professor Carlson getting ready for her class. She can add files, share her applications, or even use the whiteboard to collaborate with her students. As students join the session, she's notified of their arrival. The layout automatically adapts by showing the added participants, encouraging them to join the discussion. Participants can choose to follow a speaker, maximizing the speaker's display. When the instructor shares an application, document, or prepared content, the interface automatically changes to reflect the activity, minimizing the speaker to focus on the content. You'll notice that chat messages are always visible, allowing users to follow questions and comments without having to keep a separate window open. Professor Carlson can also engage her students and promote collaboration with the whiteboard. When she stops sharing, the view returns to showing all participants, allowing face-to-face class discussion. The professor can monitor raised hands and use this feature to ask someone to volunteer to present information to the class. She can promote any of her students to the presenter role during the session. As a presenter, Sarah can share applications, files, and the whiteboard, navigate slides, and manage raised hands. But as the moderator, Professor Carlson remains in control. Group work, meetings, lectures, and more. Whatever your goals, Blackboard Collaborate makes communication easy. Now, you can forget about the technology and focus on each other.
So I wanted to show you that because it does a nice job of illustrating the new interface and how it's very different from the more boxy one. Question about that?
No, I use Blackboard Collaborate in my online classes as well. It is a little quirky to set up.
It is.
And I always kind of go through some things.
Yeah.
We use it for law classes to have the students give their group presentations.
Very good.
Yeah, online.
That's actually that UCU tool. One of the places they market especially is to law and MBA classes to do the same. They're kind of in that same market with this tool a little bit as well. But
is the Blackboard Collaborative embedded in the Blackboard system, or do they have to go outside to get a link?
Right now they have to go outside to get a link. We're working towards hopefully this coming year, and with some changes in the way we do Blackboard, that it will be completely integrated. And that's one of the advantages to this as well, is the tighter you can make that integration, the easier you can get students in there. And they showed it very quickly, but at the beginning it's now just as simple as clicking a web link to get into one of these presentations, and that's what you're talking about, is that it's a little wonky at the beginning here today.
You got to get it in that Blackboard system.
Right, and so moving it in there I think will improve that tremendously. The other thing about this is this new version is completely mobile friendly, and I think that's a key, because one of the other challenges about doing something like Collaborate, doing a synchronous thing, is, oh, now I have to have a microphone, and I have to make sure that's working, and I have to, maybe have a camera. You saw those different tiles showing the different students and the faculty member, and it was a static picture. Well, if you have a camera and you turn it on, that picture turns into your video. So that is certainly possible as well. It doesn't have to just be the static picture. And so being that our mobile devices like this already have cameras and already have microphones, you've really simplified one of those big barriers of getting students onto this kind of technology. Because before, that was always one of the issues. And faculty as well, certainly. So I think this not only has an impact for faculty and what they're doing in their classes, but I think this could easily be another avenue we could leverage to help with student success. Get the academic coaches on this kind of technology, and now you have another way that students and those coaches can interact that is a very modern way to do that. So I'm kind of excited about that. I think there's a lot of potential there as well. Not to mention faculty development and in the TLETC that we can use this kind of tool. So there's a lot of potential there. Obviously, mobile devices, as I kind of just mentioned, are huge. I have them here in the future state. They're certainly in the current state as well. But our concentration and what we can do with mobile devices, I think, is changing all the time. And I know we're consistently working to make course material more mobile friendly. We're working with faculty and talking about that and what they can do to do that. The second point is the SIS framework, which stands for Student Information System Framework. And really what that is, it's an update to the way our PeopleSoft system talks to our Blackboard system. Because unfortunately, the way we're doing that still today is actually circa about 2005 or 6. So it's been the same for a while, and God bless it, it works well. But at the same time, they have, in about 2011, they created a new method that increases efficiency and therefore I think would be only an improvement for the experience of our students. I think it could speed up the time in which we can move information between PeopleSoft and Blackboard, but it'll also, it just becomes much more of an efficient process. We get more control over the process, and the process works more efficiently as well. Right now, just to give you a quick nutshell of that, when we move information from PeopleSoft to Blackboard, we have to move every student every time because of the way that system works. And that's just only going to bring on potential problems. This update allows us to only move the information that has changed. And that's what we need to be doing today. Another thing that's hopefully coming soon is called Atomic Learning. Atomic Learning is a robust digital library of training. 1,500 hours